Hi everybody, how's it going? Haven't made a video in a while, so here I am, vlogging again. Driving vlogging. I never know if I should show me or I should show where I am, but most of you know what I look like, so I was just sitting here having lunch, a Coke and a blueberry muffin, and I got a text from my wife. One of the nurses that she works with, it's her last day today, so they do this what they call a potluck dinner, where every nurse brings something. So she asked me to bring a fruit platter, which I take it to mean one of those plastic trays of the fruit already diced up. Actually, I'm going to start driving here. But since she worked till 7:30 in the morning, I didn't wake her up to ask her. So that's what I got. It seems a bit more expensive to do it that way. Than like if you were just to buy the fruit and dice it up yourself and put it in like a tin foil sort of container that you didn't care about. What's with all the traffic at 1 in the afternoon? There's too many people that don't work regular hours anymore. They work from home or whatever they do, and traffic is always busy. Oh, a guy that decided to signal at the last second. He had done that 5 feet ago, I could have made my turn. But he was one of those guys that was doing the speed and then slams on the brake at the last second. Anyway. Last week was a really expensive week. $580 on the car because remember, I don't know how many of you will remember, a couple months ago I did a video. Ooh, that's a nice color on that Camaro. I'm sorry. I did a video where I had to dub over it because it was so noisy. That was just after we had the car serviced and they had replaced a timing belt. So I had assumed that they forgot to lubricate it or whatever, and next time we had an oil change I would just get it done. Well, as it turns out, it wasn't that. It was a flex pipe or something for the exhaust system, where the exhaust meets the engine had gone, and it was a fairly expensive part because I'm driving a Pontiac and they don't make Pontiacs anymore, even though it's only a 2006. And I believe the Chevy Malibu is the exact same car as this G6 is underneath, but you know how the dealers are, right? So yeah. That was not the biggest expense, though. I have an offer. It'll probably take 15, 16 months, maybe a couple years for everything to be set and done. But I have an offer with a friend of mine who's starting a real estate investment company to work for her. And she'll give me profit sharing 5% of the company, and basically what I would have to do is she wants to do a worldwide thing, and she wants me to basically do the renovations of every place that the company buys, or in some cases go and look at it before bidding. Which would be nice to travel, I suppose. But because I fairly strong, but Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, those type of places. And so, I don't know. We've been talking about it for a long time, and now that the opportunity is here, like I said, I'm a little bit tense about it. Her situation, though, is she still has 2 kids that are at home, and, you know, ours is going to be 19 in October and away in university, and she could come to wherever we live, basically. I don't know. The older I get, the more I think about, do I want to live, as much as I like Southern Ontario, and as much as I realize I live in a part of the country that may have more amenities than some other parts, it would also kind of be nice to see somewhere else. And even if I was working, the opportunity to you know, be south in the winter working on a project, even if it was just for a couple weeks, to be in Arizona in January or something would be kind of intriguing to me, I guess. Man, this window is dirty. I wonder if the camera's going to pick that up. Around the hospital that my wife works in, there's a lot of construction, and I think she left the window open a little bit yesterday, or the sunroof, and I came out and I could hardly see through the window, and the wipers weren't doing anything, so I think it took me about 10 minutes to realize that it was on the inside, not the outside. I was going to go to the car wash, but I just don't feel like it. I feel lazy. It's been a long day. I want to go home. Anyways, speaking of home, so that goes back to the expense. We had to pay $7,000 to get the front of our house fixed, and it's not even completed yet. The wood railings had rotted out, and the stairs were all off kilter. And there's, on our second floor, there's wood that had rotted through, which I didn't know, because you couldn't actually see any sign of it until in May I started doing the floors, putting wood floors in, because we had the carpet that was there from when we bought it from the builder. I pulled it up, and by the window in the bedroom, there was a big hole in the subfloor. So we called a guy who's a friend, who's the husband of one of the nurses my wife works with, and he came and he said the wood outside was not pressure treated. It was never, there was never any caulking put on it, and it's basically been leaking since 1999, November of 99 when we moved in there. So the insulation, it was always cold in the winter in there, and hot in the summer, even with the heater AC on, which shouldn't happen in a newer house, but the insulation was soaked because it had been leaking since 1999. So that had to be replaced, all the drywall had to be ripped out, and the wood had to be replaced with proper pressure treated wood. So while I was out there watching the guy do the work, everybody kept coming up and saying, "Oh, it's no problem, just get your insurance to pay for it." Insurance doesn't pay for it. I didn't even bother to ask because I know the answer. I mean, I've been through this before. So we got those prefab concrete steps. He finished 90% of the job, but we've got these prefab concrete steps that are 4 steps, and it should have been 5, and they kind of built it up on patio tiles. The builder, this is, and vlogs that I watched from a certain fella that lives out there who has been there for 20 years, and you know who I mean, who doesn't seem to like it much. Andy. God, I'm bad with names. Quick, Andy. But then again, there's a part of me that realizes that if you're a taxi driver in Toronto, you probably hate Toronto. If you're a taxi driver in Calgary, you hate Calgary, Halifax, so on, because you're dealing with the public, especially drunk idiots at night. So that would most definitely leave a bad taste in your mouth. One of my Facebook friends wanted me to try to film some fall colors, but as you can see, that's when I'm going sort of back roads to get home, which is still 40 minutes away. But yeah, they haven't really happened yet, you know. Pickup trucks. They're always in your way when you have to go somewhere, or they're going too fast. It's one or the other. Always. Although they're probably convenient to own one. I wouldn't want to be judged as one of those. Yep. I don't know what it is. Oh, when I got that text, I was watching a video. Monica said it was her birthday today, so happy birthday, Monica. And she said her age, too, which I won't repeat, because I'm very sensitive to age. Well, not really. I don't actually fear dying as much as I fear getting old. I don't mean like 50 or 60 or even 70, but you know the type of old where you don't even look like yourself anymore, whatever that is in your 80s. Well, some people do well. That stairs I was just in at Uxbridge. Must be a retirement camp. I think it's a retirement camp for people out in from Oshawa. Because, I mean, I felt like a real spring chicken in there, which is kind of nice. I got the big 4-7 coming up in end of November, which doesn't bother me. This may sound weird, but the birthday that bothered me the most was turning 22. Weird, right? Because I felt like there was nothing to look forward to. 16, you can drive. 18, you can vote. 19, you can drink. 21, some people consider the beginning of being a real adult. 22, nobody cares. I don't see retiring in the city. Just because of how pricey it is. I think if I were to retire in Ontario, I'd want to go a little bit north. I kind of like Collingwood Blue Mountains, a couple hours from the city. It's a lot of stuff going on there with the ski hill and the, Wasaga Beach, the world's longest freshwater beach, being not too far. What's going on here? Oh, it's closed. Alright. Construction season in Ontario. So, I like it up there, although it's quite posh. A lot of big mansions, and like I said, there's so many people that don't have to actually go into an office now that people are moving away from the city, and there's a lot of money up there. But I don't want to move, and I'm still probably at least 20 years from retiring anyways, at least, unless I win a lottery, which I bought tickets for. I won $20. So I spent $20 a week on lotteries, and I won $20. So this week's tickets are free. Look at all those future burgers there. Look, I can't put that on a bunch of cows. Anyway, if you're still listening to me at this point, you're crazy. Because I wouldn't even listen to me. My own family wouldn't listen to me at all. But yeah, I like it up there. I also like Halliburton, but I gotta tell you, after all this stuff, dealing with the housing issues, fixing the house, I kind of want to go out to BC for 5 years and just live in a condo or rent. I mean, it's possible we could be able to afford to buy a condo out there. One of the guys I'm subscribed to on YouTube is from Kelowna, and he's constantly talking about how they can't give away condos there because they overbuilt for a smaller city, and the market is flooded, and it's basically a retirement town, and so it's sort of a buyer's market. So maybe we'll look at one of the resort condos down there if I can make enough money to off the place in Toronto, which, judging from a friend of mine who owns 2 of them in that building, I could. It would probably pay the mortgage, and I would just have to pay out of my salary maintenance fees and other living expenses. And because my wife is an ICU nurse, there are jobs for her anywhere. And BC actually pays sunny. Yeah, so how much time do I have? 3 minutes. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it. If I run out of things to say, I'll just let the camera roll. I want to do the whole 30 minutes that this camera will allow. There's more burgers than me. Now I've totally lost track of whatever I was saying, whatever I was talking about. Oh yeah, so I was just kind of thinking that it might be nice to live in a condo for a few years and not have to worry about grass and maintenance. Your maintenance fees cover all of that stuff, I'm assuming. Just moving, maybe be walking, more walking distance than I am to stuff now. I don't have a lot around my house. It's in walking distance. At least not the distance I would like to walk. So, it might be nice to, just have the conveniences, be able to walk to a pub and, watch a hockey game and have a couple of beers and not have to worry about driving or that kind of thing. So, we'll see what happens. I have till January to decide. It's so weird. I was talking the other day with my neighbor about how it's interesting that there's one of the differences between Canadians and Americans is Americans don't hesitate to move to another state, whereas most Canadians, you're born in Ontario, you live in Ontario. You're born in Alberta, you live in Alberta. But just talking of birthdays and thinking that, I'm not getting any younger. And sometimes I get Facebook friends that are old high school friends that I haven't seen in 15, 20 years. And, you ask where they're living. And a lot of them are still in Ontario, but there's quite a few that have gone, to Florida and places like that. One of my friends found me on Facebook, and he's been in Key West since 1989. So he couldn't handle coming back here now because he's addicted to the sunshine. Sure. He knows what's ahead for me, but he still has to say that. Cloudy days, gray days. I'm gonna go to Costco. They have those sun lamps that go off a bit of heat that are supposed to stop you from being depressed. So I'm gonna go see if I can get one of those. Okay, this is gonna end. Talk to you later.